The actual history behind Mr. Grimlett is very sketchy. We don't actually know if he was an actual person or not. The story of Sydney Grimlett started out here at University Chapel, which was at the time of the Civil War an actual church. They had a unit of, I believe it was mostly of Hoods, General Hood from a Texas unit that actually stayed here during the time it was a hospital. There was a lot of death, things that were going on here, or surgical procedures. With Mr. Grimlett specifically, the story mostly associated with him is that he was injured, and at the point that the injury actually set up gangrene, they had to amputate a leg. So he is a one-legged ghost. That's that's a pretty common trend that people notice with him. But actually, the haunting with Mr. Grimlett or Sydney Grimlett didn't start sort of manifesting here until right about the 70s. There were some students that were using the chapel as a theater. They practiced here and they had plays and things like that. And one of the things that they did a lot of was leave sort of just gifts in the rafters, mostly candy, chocolate specifically, to try to appease his spirit, because a lot of times they would come in and they would start plays or something of that nature, and when they would do that, all hell would break loose in here. It would just be all sorts of havoc would go on. Props would come up missing. Actors would stumble around, and just all sorts of things, until they started leaving these gifts for Sydney Grimlett. And then that would sort of calm all the activity down. Plays would flow a little bit easier, and so it really became a superstition, and it kind of just grew from there. We don't really know where he's at, to tell you the truth. There have been times we've investigated both locations. My team was here some years ago, and just a few years ago at Telfair Pete. And while we were actually investigating, we were addressing the ghost of Sydney Grimlett. We actually got more associated with that spirit at Telfair Pete. So it's highly possible that he could be there as opposed to here. But part of the legend with Mr. Grimlett is that when the theater was actually built in the 70s, over just down the road here, that the students that were here actually asked the ghost to come with them. Would you please come to the new theater with us? And allegedly he did. And so we've been here, several times and investigated. We've had a few things happen, specifically in the bathroom. The ladies' room seems to be the most haunted, go figure. But as far as Telfair Pete goes, there seems to be a little bit more activity there as opposed to here at the chapel.